Hey guys, it's Nichole Eaton with the Rock Your Soul book and podcast, where we talk about how to hack your mindset, grow your intuition, and live your best life. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Rock Your Soul podcast. I'm your host, Nichole Eaton, soul therapist and author of the book Rock Your Soul, the Down to Earth Guide to Mastering Your Mind. I'm so excited to be back. I actually am doing another series of question and answers. These questions have come from listeners, from readers, and from my Facebook group. So if you're not part of my Facebook group, it's facebook.com/groups/Rock Your Soul Clarity. But the theme of today is manifesting. So if you want to learn a little bit more about manifestation, especially when it comes to other people, I have a bunch of questions today that we're going to answer that are just that. So my first question came directly from a Facebook group. You can also send me private DMs if you want. But the question is, how do you manifest for things that require action from someone else? Example, I'm ready to move my relationship to the next level. He knows where I stand, but isn't ready yet. Things are good, but I'm not sure how to manifest things to keep moving forward when so much relies on another person. So this is really, really tricky because at the end of the day, you cannot control anybody else. Do I think will and what people want can be really influential? Absolutely. The big theme of manifesting in general is really focus on yourself, worry about yourself. I don't think it's fair to impose your will on another person. But I think at the end of the day, it really comes down to what do you want? Getting clear on what you want, getting clear on what makes you happy, getting clear on what kind of relationship and what level and in depth and seriousness of a relationship you want to have. Like, you have to get very clear when you're in a relationship. You have to get really clear on what it is you want and what it is you're willing to tolerate, what it is you're willing to compromise on. You can always pray for the person, pray for things to, and you can always set some intentions, but I don't think that it's good karma to manifest what other people would want or for other people to do certain things. So I will say that I don't think it's good karma. I think you should always focus on yourself. So what this will do is if you're focusing on the things you want, it will do a couple different things. It will bring that reality to you via this person or another person. Or if you're focusing on, man, I really want a relationship that feels loving and fun and serious, and I want to feel committed to, and I want to feel secure. And if what is happening outside of you is not that, it's going to get really clear to you that this is not the right fit. Sometimes the things we want do not have to be attached to another person or to the person that's in front of us. Sometimes the things that we want do not have to be attached to that job that you want. But we kind of grow attachments over time of, we want it to be with this person. But the reality is you do want all of these elements, but you also want a more serious element, and that's okay. So you can start to manifest having those elements. And I would say leave names out of it. Focus on the relationship you desire, not the relationship with the person you desire. Does that make sense? Focusing on, I want someone who does this, who makes me feel this way, who I feel, again, secure and connected to. I am so grateful that I have somebody who wants the same things as I do, who feels mutually about me, who is ready to go to the next level. And I would say, explore within yourself to define what that next level is. And again, this is going to create that energy around you. So it's going to do one of two things. It's going to help that sort of form and shape around you, because I think the energy of what we desire can influence the right thing, the right person, the right job, the right whatever, the right situation to come into our lives. It can attract that into your life. And if it is with that person that you desire, they'll be there. They'll show up. They'll level up. If it's not, then that might get really clear really quick that, oh, this is not going in the direction I thought it was. So that's called cognitive dissonance. It's when what we really want is a complete contrast to what we're getting. So again, that will help you get really clear of, oh, maybe this isn't the right person to have this this is leveling up with. Maybe this is fun for now. Maybe this is a great, fun, easy relationship for now. But if you ultimately want something different and this person's energy isn't leveling up with yours, even with manifesting, it's going to be clear for you and you're not going to have an easier, it's going to create the clarity that you need to make a new decision of, okay, making sure you're always using logical aspects, making sure you're clear what you want. It sounds like in this question, you were clear with what you wanted. You were vocalizing that this is something that I desire. And I always think compromise is important, but you can manifest for what you desire and just see if it shapes things. I would say leave out the person's name, leave out that direct attachment having to be that person, and just focus on the energy of what you desire. And that's the way we manifest the right people into our lives, because sometimes the people we're going after just frankly aren't the right people. And we kind of know that. Or sometimes the people we're going after are great people, but they're not our people. They're not the people who are going to put us in a position to receive the life we really want. And that's a really important piece when we're talking about joy and happiness, is that we want to be surrounded by, we want to be in alignment with the people who want the same things as us. So it's okay to manifest and not use that attachment to that person, and allow that person to naturally clarify within the energetic standards of the universe if they're the right person. And again, making sure that you're using the logical aspects, making sure, are you clearly stating what you want? Are you being passive aggressive and playing the I hope you pick it up game? Are you letting the person know? And then are you looking at your standards? How long are you willing to let this relationship be fun and easy? And maybe there's an end marker in your, mind, or maybe you're like, okay, I can flow with this a little while longer and just see what happens while I manifest. That would be my recommendation if you're really enjoying the company of this other person, is to focusing on, what you want, write that down, envision it for yourself, envision, what that feels like. Tap into the feeling more than anything of what does that feel like to feel loved and secure in a relationship? What does that feel like to have that more homey vibe that comes with making a relationship more secure? Play around with those feelings. And again, what will happen is that energy will either make it very clear that this is not the right person, or it will allow the person to have the energetic influence to move into that space. But we can't force other people to do the things we want, unfortunately. And we can't, we also can't sacrifice the things we want to make other people comfortable. So it's really relationships are such a good lesson in getting clear within yourself of what you're willing to tolerate. I always say make a really long list of non-negotiables, things that you're just not willing to put up with, things that just don't make sense for you, that don't turn you into your best self, because that's ultimately what we're looking for, is that feeling of security and that feeling of being able to be your best self with another person. And I think that's, the most beautiful piece. So my suggestion to the person who sent this question is making sure you're getting super clear within yourself, manifesting that, writing a little letter, and again, detaching from who it needs to be. I know that's really tricky when we really want a relationship to work and we just want it to be that person. If you can come back to, no, I want the right person. I want someone who does this. I want someone who's clear. And again, if he is the right person, he's going to step up for you. He's going to show up for you. He's going to step into your new reality, because the reality is you create your reality. You create what you attract into your life. You design your relationship. And if you're settling, you're not designing. And that's really freaking important. It's easy to settle because we're afraid to lose. But when we set our own standards, then everybody has to come up to us. And if it's not them, it's somebody else who can. And that's the really, really important piece, is detaching from the person to be able to successfully manifest the actual relationship that you want. So I hope that's helpful. It is so tricky because I think detaching is a really hard part. Detaching is really tricky when we really want something. But if we think of desire when we're really, really hooked on something and really attached to something, it's not necessarily desire so much as it is fear. And when we're in a state of fear, we're not manifesting. We're not manifesting anything. When we're afraid to lose something or we're afraid that what we want will make that other thing, person, place, jobs disappear, then we're actually coming from an energy of lack. And when we're coming from an energy of lack, we're saying, I don't have this. And then we're telling the universe, I don't have this. And then the universe is like, cool, you don't have it. Do you see how different that is? Then when I detach and say, no, this is what I want, and I believe I can have that for myself. I want someone who loves me, who sees me, who makes me feel seen, who makes me feel loved, who's thoughtful, who's comfortable. I feel comfortable around. Thinking about all the things that are important to you in bringing that energy of that person into your life. And again, if it is the right person, it'll shape and take form, and you'll see, I think, changes in their behavior by focusing on yourself. If it's not, you'll also see a very clear separation between that and what you want. So your job is, again, to get clear within yourself, to focus on yourself, to manifest for yourself and what you desire, and detach from the outcome. Because when you get super clingy to an outcome, or super attached to an outcome, or to a person, or to a situation, you lose sight. The thing is like, the universe knows that the things that we want and the things that we can have aren't always what we can see and what's directly in front of us. Sometimes the universe has something better. So when we start to focus on ourselves and we start to get clear about ourselves, the things we want or that we've had are right in front of us. And we're like, this doesn't feel right anymore. I don't really know why. There's nothing specific happening. But when it's time to move up, sometimes we can't see what's possible for us because we're not willing to move the crap out of the way to get to the better thing. We're not willing to let go of the okay to get to the great. And that's a really tricky thing when it comes to manifesting, is being able to trust that the universe has a better plan, and that trust that we can want things. We can want great things. We can want more for ourselves. And it's okay. We don't have to settle for somebody who's showing up in a half-assed way. We can move up. We can open our energy up. So trusting the universe is really big part of detaching from the outcome, knowing that there's abundance of people in the world for you. There's abundance of jobs in the world for you. There's abundance of better situations for you. And that if this isn't the one, if you're clear about what you want and you're manifesting that and you're asking and intending that for yourself, and if this isn't the one, then you have to trust that there is somebody who is willing to meet you on your level. And that's tricky, but it's doable. So making sure you're clear. All right, next question. Okay, so our next question is also a great question. Can you manifest things for someone else or just yourself? My boyfriend's having a really hard time in his business and really needs to switch a flip. He's good at staying positive and staying in flow, but any little boost would help. So, yes, we can manifest positive things. The thing is that the most powerful shift in people's lives will come from them. The most powerful shift in other people's lives will have to come from them choosing differently for themselves, them choosing a different mindset, them choosing to take action, them making a new choice. Whatever that is, it has to really come from them. But what we tend to do when people are in a tough situation is we get in their low points with them. We get in their chaos with them. And sometimes we start to feel chaotic as a result, or sometimes we start to worry for them. Oh my God, I hate worrying. If you've ever had a conversation with me, worrying is basically sending somebody negative energy to keep them trapped in the energy they're already in. So if we think about worry as one of the worst things we can do for somebody else, because especially if they're energetically sensitive, we're sending energy via thought that they're going to be like this forever. And I see this a lot with people who have a loved one who is in an addictive relationship or an addiction, substance-wise. So we worry about people. We put that negative projection out there. We anticipate that their next step is going to be a bad one. And we actually don't help them move away from it because we kind of put our energetic trap that that's what they are and that's who they're going to be on them. So what we can do in situations like this is a couple things. Always worry about yourself because when we're at our best, our positive energy can be so influential to people around us. Sometimes the best motivation for other people is watching their loved ones keep their energy up, take good care of themselves, make bolder choices, and be the example. So I believe that positive energy is just one of those things that everybody can feel. And you can, if you're not energetically sensitive or you're like, I'm really not even sure what you're talking about when you're talking about energy, Nichole, this is somebody who like lights up a room when they walk in it. It's somebody who just has great energy and you feel better. Like think of somebody that every time you see them, you feel better when you leave. You see them and now suddenly you just feel so much lighter, so much more yourself, so much happier. That is somebody with positive influential energy. So when you're focused on yourself, when you're taking good care of yourself, you actually have the power to help other people shift by just being you at your best. You at your best is the most powerful tool you can have in changing anybody else. I know that sounds funny because we think, if I step in and I voice my opinion and I, tell this person whatever. No, your job is just to worry about yourself. Your job is to make sure you're at your best energy. There was a study done, and I'm not going to be able to regurgitate all of the details of it, but they took Buddhist monks and they put them in a very crime-ridden city. It had high pollution, high crime, and they had these Buddhist monks meditate over this area for a period of time, and they watched crime reduce in that time period and they watched the pollution reduce. And so I always say like one person at their best has the power to change 10 people in their presence. So if you think about how do I help this person make shifts in their life, you focus on yourself. And like I said, giving people their power back, a lot of times people just want to bitch about it and they don't want to make any changes. And so sometimes if I've realized that somebody has been in my life and really just only coming to me to complain, a friend or whatever, I'll just kind of hand them back their power and say, man, this sounds like this is a perpetual thing. What are you going to do differently? And sometimes I just hand them their power back because a lot of times we get caught in our patterns of doing the same thing and we feel stuck and almost forget we can do something differently. Or we can talk about manifesting. Man, I was manifesting this really cool thing that happened to me, or I ended up getting this, I got my car for a certain amount and I was like manifesting, and people were like, you would never get that kind of car at that amount. So you can kind of tell people hopeful stories. I know that sounds funny about manifesting or about things that happen that are positive just to help shift that mindset. That's always a good one too. But I would say hand people their power back. You don't have to be their catch all for their venting. And it sounds like he has a good positive energy, but just making sure you're handing them their power back. What are you going to do about it? Sometimes we just need to inspire people to take action through our words or through our support. Another thing that you can do if we're talking about manifestation is I think manifesting and praying are pretty much the same thing. But I do less formal manifesting for people as much as I do prayer for people. So if I've got somebody in my life who seems like they're really struggling, really having a hard time, I'll just set the intention. Please help, just the universe, God, angels, whoever you believe in, please help this person find their strength to make a new choice. Please help this person feel more confident in their life to make a shift. Please help this person see a shift in their life. And so instead of worrying about them, we can actually set a positive intention for them to see differently, for them to be able to shift out of their own bullshit or whatever it is that they're going through. But that is a huge piece, is either acting as the example, being the influential person, or coming into a place where we're praying for that person. We're praying for them to find the things that they need to see life in a different way, to see the problem in a different way, to help create a shift. Any of those things will help push positive energy towards them. But at the end of the day, we have to let people grow on their own. And I think shifting, especially, you're talking in this question about him running a business and struggling in his business. We have to let him work that out, and we can be the support along the way. And again, your positive, influential energy can change and help people shift. I think the biggest, most powerful, and actually, if you've ever read the Course in Miracles, it talks about a miracle not as this big, wild event. It talks about a miracle as a small shift in in perception, a small shift in the way you're seeing a situation to help you solve it, to help you feel differently, to help you move through it. So we can always pray for miracles for other people so that they can shift their mindset to solve their own problems. And put that positive energy out there for them. Because again, when we're also focused on their problem, we are worrying for them, worrying with them, and sending them that negative energy, that entrapping energy. Because I believe that when we're stuck, a lot of times it's energy. If you've listened to this podcast, you know that I believe that energy precedes thought. And so when we're really stuck in a thought, we really need to clear that energy out so that we can get both of them loosened up to choose differently, to make different efforts to change our mindset. So pray for them, set good intentions for them, let them figure it out, worry about yourself, be the example of what it looks like to take really good care of yourself or to make different decisions in your life, and hand them their power back. Because at the end of the day, we can pray for people, we can set positive energy towards them. Sometimes too, if someone's really, really having a hard time, I like to envision a little bubble just of light, just clearing them out or wrapping around them. So, or just I'll envision my heart energy. I'll make it, just envision it being pink and just send it to them. And just if they're having a hard time, I'll just send a little bubble of pink light to them. It's just kind of loving energy, supportive energy. And I know there's people in my life who have texted me almost immediately after that, just thinking about you. I'm feeling better today, that kind of thing. So you'd be surprised what small intentional acts will do, small intentional mindset shifts on your part will help other people with. But, at the end of the day, I think we give people their power back and we let them manifest the life they're dreaming up because, even if we could do it for them, which I think on some level you probably can. But like I said, I don't like to mess with will and fate. People have to grow on their own and people have to shape their lives on their own. And I think, as much as we would love to be able to just manifest and hope for good things for them, they really have to take their power back. And that is a huge part of manifesting. And that we're probably going to talk about in a different episode, because someone brought that up to me the other day, is I don't feel powerful and I'm manifesting and then I feel like my manifestations don't work. So we'll talk about that on a different day. But part of us owning our lives is feeling powerful and empowered in our own lives and our own decisions. So when we're making that happen and when we're changing inside, that is the power. That is how we become more successful at life. And if someone did it for us, like, that wouldn't feel the same. It wouldn't have the same longevity and impact. I always think of the example, like if you're going to, go to the Super Bowl, you want to fight to win. You want to go through the process, get dirty, and get the trophy at the end. But if someone just was dropped it off on your doorstep, it wouldn't be the same. And our soul needs that. Our soul needs to fight a little. It needs to feel proud of ourselves. We need to go through challenging times to level up, to feel better, and to know we did it. Nobody else did it for us. And so there's power in letting people handle their own shit. So I hope that was helpful. Again, if you have other questions for me, I have more. I'm trying to break them up 2 per podcast. So if you have more questions, feel free to DM me. You can find me on NicholeEaton.com. You can find me at NicholeEaton.xo on Instagram. And again, my Facebook group is facebook.com/groups/rockyoursoulclarity. I love you all and appreciate all the love and support. I will catch you later. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to the Rock Your Soul book and podcast. Take a moment to book a one-on-one personalized soul therapy session with me or catch a live event by visiting www.NicholeEaton.com or follow me on Instagram at NicholeEaton.xo. Thank you.